and thank you for joining me for the Time Is Always Now podcast. This is a podcast that is dedicated to helping people get past their excuses, helping people stop saying I'm going to do it someday or one day, and say they're going to do it right now. Because there is no other time but the present moment. This is a podcast that is dedicated to helping people harness the power in the eternal moment of now. That's what it's all about. So I appreciate you joining me today. I appreciate you listening. Remember to spread these words out, these messages out to your friends, your family. I want everyone to be able to get these messages. If you would like to donate to the cause, by all means you can do so. Just go to my website. It is terenceyoungnow.com and you can donate there. I appreciate that. Thank you in advance for that. So we have been through a lot in this country in the last 2 weeks or so now with the election. And this week I've been focusing on unity and focusing on coming together. So in this episode of the podcast, I'm just going to share some ideas with you how I feel about how we can come together. And it's not even just about our country, but really it's about our lives, about coming together with everything. And ultimately, if we come together as communities, it can spread out and come together as a country. And you know what? Then we can come together as a world. The whole thing kind of all works together. So I'd love to get to talk to you about that. Just share my ideas about it. And I'd love for you guys to give me feedback too about what you think about it. Quick update that I have the classes. The class on finding your passion. 3 tips of finding your passion and living it right now. If you know someone who's interested in that, you know someone who wants to find their passion, not sure what it is, get in touch with me. You can go to my website, terenceyoungnow.com. You can find out all about that. I also have the class on becoming an engaging speaker and creating an engaging speech. There's 6 key tips there that I share in that course. Some great videos. I think it's 20 or 21 videos that I share in that course to really help you engage your audience and become an engaging speaker. I've been doing this for a while now. I have a great lead on how to do that. I've been doing this for a while, so I can help you out if you want to become a speaker, if you're interested in doing that. So definitely go to my website, terenceyoungnow.com. Check it out. I also have the course on the 12 spiritual powers, which you can also sign up there as well on my website, terenceyoungnow.com. So thank you in advance and check it out. So we're talking about unity all week, coming together. And because the country is so divided, the U.S. that is, if you're here in the United States, we got to work together. We got to work together. I posted a message today, or a meme today, a quote about when we come together, when we collaborate together, wonderful things happen. But we have to work together first. And it's amazing, you know, I can go back to relationships in my life. And I'm sure you can as well, and say, were we working together? And if you've been in a relationship and it ended, then you feel me. You know where I'm coming from. At some point, the relationship didn't work because you stopped working together. I'm not putting any blame on one or the other, but you stopped collaborating. You stopped working together. Relationships are work, right? They don't just work because you love each other. You've got to actually put work in. You've got to collaborate and work together. You've got to come together in unity and just make these tough decisions day in and day out. Even when it's hard, even when you disagree with your partner, right? That person that's there with you in that marriage. But you still got to come together in unity. You still got to come together and say, how can we figure this out? Same thing plays out in everything else in our lives. It's the truth in a relationship. It's the truth in a business setting. If you want to accomplish a common goal, if you want your business to go from here to here, you may have 2 different sides that don't agree on how to take your business from here to here. But what do you got to do? You got to respect the other person. You got to have a respectful conversation. You got to listen to understand. I know I've shared that before here. Listen to understand. Really listen to understand to see if there's some common ground on how you can build on both of your ideas and help and then have the common goal be to uplift the company, right? The company is going to work better. Same thing that previous relationship we talked about. If you work together and find common ground, then both of you advance. The relationships gets better. Everything gets better for you, your spouse, for the kids, whatever the case may be. When you work together. When you stop working together, what happens? When you start name calling and pointing fingers, it severs the bond. It separates the two. And it's hard to get that back together. And as long as you have two sides, then you can't come together. Until you decide we aren't sides, we're the same, we're coming together in unity, then when you decide we're going to work together, then you have a common goal, and then you can move forward. And this is what's going on in our nation right now. We don't have a common goal. That's the problem. On some of the major issues in this country, we don't have a common goal. We've got to find the common goal first. How can we come together in unity and then work out the details of these different things, right? And the common goal should be not specifically healthcare. It's got to be how do we make our country better? How do we serve all of our nation's people? How do we help the majority, the most that we can? How can we help everyone succeed? I believe that everyone wants that, but we're still looking at it in two different ways. And that's okay. It's okay. But we've got to come together and work on it. We've got to decide that our similarities and what we both want are more important than our differences. And it's so important that when we come together in unity, when we come together and say we are on the same team and we all want this country to do better, then we'll be able to do better, right? Then we'll be able to work together. It's amazing. I'm watching a lot of the news. I'm sure you are as well. And I'll see, I'll see people on the Republican side say, well, we're not working with the Democrats because they said all these things for the last 4 years. And then I'll see Democrats say, well, we're not working with the Republicans because they didn't work with us. So it's a constant circle. Someone's got to end it. Someone's got to end it. Who's going to be the one to be the bigger person and say this is childish? We have to end this. And the reason we want to end it is because we all have a common goal. We all want to help our nation and our country do better. Ultimately, our world do better. We all want that. We're just looking at it from different ways. But someone has to step up and say, "Hey, I want to reach out my hand and say, how can we come to some agreement here? How can we come together in unity? How can we come together as a country? How can we come together as a people?" This is the most important thing. It's bigger than politics. It's about humanity. That's what I live for and I think about, and I think a lot of you do too. You do as well. It's about humanity. And you have to respect your fellow man. You can't have a conversation going in with a predisposed position of them being evil and you good, right? I posted that meme earlier in the week. Be careful not to dehumanize the person you disagree with, right? Because in your self-righteousness, you'll end up exhibiting the behavior that you said you didn't like. You end up being the same thing as the person you said you didn't like. You're saying the same horrible things about them that they said about you. Then what makes you any different? What makes you any different if you're doing the exact same thing, just from a different perspective? Nothing. Nothing. You're just two sides of the same thing. Being negative, and hateful, and pushing towards a negative rhetoric towards the other side. I always teach this. I always say that there's three sides to the truth. There's your side, there's their side, and there's the truth. And the truth is always somewhere in the middle. And that's exactly where we are, right? We've got the far right, the far left, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. We should be able to meet somewhere in the middle and be able to move forward. The problem is no one wants to listen to the middle. You can't get any airtime unless you take a hard right stance or a hard left stance. We've got to change that. The media has to work on changing that, where we can start listening to ideas that are not far right or far left, because neither one of those are the truth. We've got to get to unity. We've got to come together. I implore you to do this. This is my duty. This is what I'm doing for as long as I'm here, and in every capacity that I can. Every single conversation that I have, I am going to be encouraging unity, no matter who I'm speaking with, no matter where I'm speaking at. Whether I'm having a conversation with my children or my family, or I'm giving a speech in front of 5,000 people, I'm going to be encouraging unity and saying, this is what we have to do. This is what we need to do. This is the best thing for our country. And if each and every one of us thought that way and chose that first, then we can change our world. We can change our country. We can move forward from this. It's up to us. It's totally up to us. So let's come together. Let's come together in unity. And I challenge you this week, every single conversation, yes, that includes anything you post, anything you put on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, all of it, encourage unity. Someone's got to step up and do it. I know what some of you are thinking. You're saying, well, I'm not going to do it because I just saw somebody post something the other day. So why should I do it? Because it's the right thing to do. That's why. So I'm taking the stance. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm asking you to do it as well. Let's start encouraging unity in every single conversation we have. Because that's where it starts. Let's start out there with them. It starts in here with us. Let's come together. We can do this. We can do better. We know better, so we should be able to do better. And if we do that, we can unequivocally say, we own the now and we have won. Thank you for joining me. This is TY. Remember, the time is always